Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about burnout and how to prevent it. So, before we get into that, what is burnout? Burnout, to me at least, is basically where you feel detached from your work. So, things that you used to do that gave you joy are now, I don't know, they're just kind of a nuisance. You feel dark and gray and almost depressed or sad. Burnout can present as a loss of empathy for your friends and family members. So, I'm a student physical therapist, and a symptom of burnout would be if I were to see a patient and I had to do something for that patient, but I didn't have the empathy I normally would. I would just kind of go through the motions of helping them with whatever they needed as like a check instead of feeling passion and feeling like I was in a position of privilege helping them. I would feel like it was a necessity or it was compelled of me to do that instead of being passionate about it. So here's a little list of tips that I've compiled to reduce your burnout because we want to live life in a zone where we feel passionate and excited to live. So here we go. So the first way to prevent burnout is to see the tree for the forest. And this essentially means so when you are living your life, right? You have a lot of things that you need to do. You have theoretically hundreds of things on your calendar during a year, and it's important when you're doing things to zoom in on one task, one tree, not the entire forest that you need to work on, right? And this is why you should leverage a tool like a calendar to cut a single tree down at a time, right? So if you put things off, if you don't keep your word, it prevents you from being efficient with your time. So instead of cutting trees down one at a time, you take a swing at a tree, you have like the little wedge ready to get cut down, but you, instead of finishing that tree, you make another wedge and then another wedge on different trees instead of being efficient with your time and doing one, then the next thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. So focus on the tree, not the forest. And next is to prioritize your physical and your mental health over your work, right? And this is important because if you're not in a place of physical and mental stability and health, work is not going to help you. It's going to hurt you. It's going to harm you because being a competent individual who works requires pillars of sleep, pillars of health, and pillars of mental health to support you as a competent individual who works, right? So like if I'm trying to help a patient, but I only slept 3 hours and I'm feeling emotionally unstable, grumpy, or if I hadn't been taking care of my health and I have my own health issues, I'm not in a position to help other people. And the biggest part of this is to focus on your physical health first. So we all know what to do: eat whole food, sleep for at least 8 hours, and exercise 60 minutes a day. Those are the main pillars. And then mental wise, having a romantic relationship or a social network that you can use to vent or to get mentally healthy by going on, fun lunches or going out for a drink. Those are all things that we need as humans to socially decompress and to set our social life from our work life. So setting those boundaries of like, I only work 8 hours a day and I do 4 hours of work in the morning and 4 hours of work in the evening. And outside of that, I like to see friends. I like to go on hikes. I like to exercise. Those are things that you need to delineate in your own calendars and your own lives so you can prevent burnout from working 12 hours a day. And the cool thing about having a social network is if your friends see you working for 13 hours straight, they're going to be like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, this is not healthy. You should go out with us, right? You should go have some dinner, decompress, open a bottle of wine, that kind of thing, right? And next is to take a break, right? So I work 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening, And every 90 minutes, I take a break that helps me decompress. I eat something rejuvenating. And for me, that's walking my dog and calling somebody on the phone and like connecting that way. Or I like to have a meal with a friend, or I like to do yoga or exercise every 90 minutes to help me stay on a sustainable trajectory with my work. And it could be also deep breathing exercises. So as humans in this stressful world, we tend to breathe with our chest instead of our belly or our diaphragm. So putting one hand on your chest and one on your belly, and making sure that most motion when you inhale comes from your belly will help you use your diaphragm and slow down your breathing rate. So lengthen how long your inhales are and your exhales, focusing on your diaphragm. Doing that for 15 minutes is called a non-sleep deep rest, and I do that lying down in bed, so it's kind of like a nap. But I do that, I guess, once a day. And if I'm studying at school, I'll go to the library, lay on a couch for 5, 10, 15 minutes, focusing on diaphragmatic breathing, trying to empty my mind of thoughts. And that helps me not overstimulate my brain, because living is a lot. And the purpose of this is basically to just take a second, focus on your mental and physical health, and relax. And the next tip to prevent burnout is to ask yourself an uncomfortable question. If the tips above haven't worked for you, ask yourself why that is. So if you're not enjoying what you do, it's possible that you have been spending time doing the wrong thing. And I know that's an uncomfortable truth for a lot of people, but I think the purpose of life, or one of the purposes, is to spend as much time as possible in the flow state. And that essentially means when you are working, you're passionate about it, you lose track of time, and you just love doing it. It's like when people say you work and you do what you're passionate about, you don't work a day in your life. I think there's some truth to that, because, for me, it's mentoring, or it's helping people reach their potential. It's making people competent. That makes me lose track of time, right? So doing these videos for you guys, helping people lose 20, 30 pounds, helping people with their incompetencies, making them competent. That's basically what makes me passionate, and you need to find what that is for you. So if your job does not align with your values, why are you doing it? Because we only have one life to live, and if what you're doing is not a hell yes, then maybe it's time to say no to that thing that's maybe lukewarm, right? So there's this saying, if you're lukewarm, then I'll spit you out. So don't half-ass things, do things the correct way, and hopefully that'll help you find a job or something that makes you feel passionate. And doing that thing over time will be sustainable, because when you wake out of bed, you'll throw the sheets off, you'll spring out of bed, and you'll love doing what you do. And that's what I want for all of you guys, right? Is to find your passion and use discipline to find your way and accomplish what you want to accomplish. And so that's a little bit about burnout. If you'd like to know more, there's an article on my website, cartergansky.com. And if you found this video useful, please subscribe, tell me what you liked, tell me what you disliked, and leave me some feedback, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.